Johnny Fontana, Half Amazing TV. Welcome to another vlog. Yes, I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it proudly. And it's all about preserving the culture of dance music, in particular house music. And I'm going to say that when it comes to DJing, if you do not know how to mix by ear, you are not a DJ, period.
We're just some men that's on the mic, and when we rock up on the mic, we rock the mic.
DJing is a profession, it is a skill, and you will abide by the standards, well, quote unquote, all right, standards and principles set forth by our forefathers.
Now the last thing, DJing. Cutting, mixing, scratching. DJing is not turntables and the technology. That's not DJing. Serato is not DJing. Technique not beatboxing, not DJing. Cutting, mixing, scratching, that's DJing. What the human does to technology is DJing. Technology can never tell the human how to DJ. Never. That's something else. Cutting, mixing, scratching. Now, look at these elements of early human, early hominin, mixing, the blending of things that don't supposed to blend. This is early human psychology, early, to take this and make it match with this. How do you do that? It's called high intelligence. Now, the education that we receive today is all about the destruction of the ancient hominin.
Okay? DJing came from somewhere. And as a result of DJing, we are now able to manipulate and distribute and export various types of sound and textures. And the bringing of music together is an art form. It's a skill. It's an ability. It's a human ability. Just like any other career, any other skill, it's an ability that needs to be honed, that needs to be mastered as a craft.
You can't just pick up a camcorder and suddenly say, oh, I can make a movie. To become a master of your art, whether it's in writing or in filmmaking or in music making, requires intense practice. It's not something that can be achieved simply through technology. So for a serious young filmmaker, these are very, very depressing times. When you leave everything to the crowd, when everything becomes democratized, where everything is determined by number of clicks, you're by definition undermining the seriousness of the artistic endeavor.
Now, does it really matter if you use sync for the rest of your life? No. Does it really matter as a chef if you use microwave for the rest of your life? No. Does it really matter as a technician, an automotive technician, if you only use electronic diagnostic scan tools rather than actually going in and checking out the actual the issues at hand? No. But if you cannot, as a mechanic, automotive mechanic, if you cannot apply the basic fundamental skills to diagnosing a problem with the vehicle without the use of an electronic scan tool, then you are not a mechanic. That's just how it is. Because then you wouldn't have passed mechanic school or automotive skill. They're not gonna make you, they're not gonna graduate you if the only thing that you can use is a freaking scan tool and you can't actually diagnose it on your own. What do you think this is? As a chef, if any chef is worth their salt, they will not solely rely on microwaves. You will make the food from scratch. You will taste the test, ensure that the food is warm based on your natural feel as a human being and not rely on microwave. That's one. Okay, just the basic craft, the basic ability of a human. Okay? Number two, what does DJing by ear do? Okay, how does it help? Well, before we get into that, all right, let's break it down in terms of the trickle-down effect and what's happening with regards to technology and music and everything else.
And then in the mid-'80s, I started getting interested in electronic music. And essentially what's happened from when I started making records, which was about 1989, 1990, is making records has become a lot easier. Distributing records has become easier. Like every aspect of it that used to be so difficult is now effortless. Just to get to the point where you had a finished piece of electronic music took a long time, a lot of money, a lot of effort, and a lot of understanding of how all these pieces of equipment worked with each other. And now it's software, you know? So now any kid can use a cracked version or buy a version of Reason or Logic or Ableton, and in about 5 minutes do what took 6 months or years 20 years ago.
What happened is that as a result of technology, you have now the ability to make music on your own. As a result of that, sales through the internet has declined. As a result of that, there's been a limitation of people that work together. There are more digital gear rather than analog. So therefore, you don't have as many pairings. You don't have any musicians, any vocalists that work together as groups. As a result of that, you have more individuals that are creating more content. As a result of that, you have more record labels or former producers that are creating mass record labels, 3, 4, 5 record labels with only 1 or 2 tracks on each record label. Okay? So as a result of that, you have so much content, so much information, and as a result now you have all these outlets, all these sources where there is no more middleman. There's no gatekeeper to ensure that the music is being distributed properly and by way of or through the proper sources in which it can be filtered and distributed, okay, for everyone to listen to.
The Hollywood mogul Barry Diller put it most accurately. He said, look, every generation has a small group of people who are talented. That's a reality. It's an unfortunate reality. It's a reality that many people don't like because most people don't have talent. But in a world where everyone becomes a creative artist, where everyone is a blogger, where everyone puts their video up on YouTube, most of the stuff is garbage, and the small amount of talent which exists in every generation gets lost because you're losing the middleman. And the value of the middleman in mainstream media was finding that talent. So the problem is when you disintermediate, which is one of the sexy words of the internet evangelists, you're actually doing away with the value of the economy.
Okay, it had nothing to do with quality. It's just in terms of just the ability for the different outlets for the music to be distributed. There's no gatekeeper down there. It's just everything. Just let's go. You want to put your music out. No problem. We'll find any kind of random label and we'll just put it out there. It can be great. It can be good, but guess what? No one's gonna really know about it. Because there's so much.
What would a young Fassbender, a young Herzog, a young Hitchcock, a young Scorsese think? They wouldn't make it in this business. Slap up their early stuff on Facebook, on YouTube, it would get lost. It would get lost in the ocean of garbage.
So, keeping that in mind, let's talk about the actual necessity. What does mixing by ear do for you? Okay? What does it do? What it does is that it enables the DJ to understand music, be able to pair music. It now forces you to think, okay, of what is going to go with what based on your sonic, the sonic properties, the auditory properties. Okay, it enables now for your mind to create imprints of music tones. Okay, of the value of the various elements within the music, within the tone. Okay, because as a result of now you're searching, you're creating, you're speeding up, you're slowing down. It's training your mind, okay, for future reference. That's what it's doing. Okay, it's the exercising of the mind, and also it helps to retain more knowledge. But if you only press sync, okay, and you rely only on sync, what you lose is that ability to connect with the music on a deeper level, on a subconscious level, on a level that you don't really understand because it's not aware, it's not physically there. You don't realize it, but it's a subconscious doing. Okay? The ability to understand sonic responses is subconscious. The same way that you gravitate towards a song. Oh, I like that sound. Where does that sound come from? It comes from a deeper subconscious root from back in the day when you were growing up and what you were exposed to as a child.
Well, it's almost, I think that in a way culturally, and this is potentially dangerous, is we're sacrificing rare creativity that has depth for ubiquitous creativity that's very shallow. You know, like letters versus emails. You know, a letter was rare, but people would tend to write quite a lot. Emails are ubiquitous, and they tend to just be 10, 20 words. It's the same thing with like a piece of music 30 years ago. Someone might work on it for 6 months and really struggle, and it was rare and perhaps had depth, whereas now someone can make an okay sounding piece of music in 30 minutes and might not have as much depth. Because if you can make something that's pretty good with not a lot of effort, it's hard to push yourself to make something great.
Okay, now not only that, when you now have to put music and associate music, what it does is it trains now the mind to be able to think 3, 4, 5 songs ahead. Because then now your mind is trained, your mind is now focused, okay, on the pairing of music. But then it also says, okay, so now what else is next? What else is gonna go with this song? Because if you just press sync, guess what? It really doesn't matter. Because you're not really worried now what the actual music sounds like. Because remember, it's a trickle-down effect. Once you start now pressing sync, any song basically is gonna go together. And I hear it all the time. I hear it even now with DJs and not pressing sync, they just put music together. Music is just, you know, you'll have one song, you know, like a funky track mixed with a tech, then next with a Latin house, then mixed with a deep, then mixed with a disco. I mean, like all moods just go from one to one, and it's not even like, doesn't even make sense. Doesn't even create any kind of journey. I don't understand. It doesn't even create any kind of mental note in my mind. I don't even know where this person is going.
The technology has advanced so much that it's a double-edged sword.
Right.
It's kind of taken a little away from the actual craft of DJing, and it's given more of anybody could like sit there and sync records, but not anybody could DJ. I don't know if you could understand what that means. It's like there's still an art form to programming a room, to getting down and taking people on a musical journey. And I think that's lacking now as the technology has gotten better. And I'm not taking away from anybody who's trying to DJ. So you have to understand that that's okay, but they also still should know their history and know where it came from, and understand that it's more than just you getting up there playing your hit record or your big record, throwing your hands in the air, having big lights and sound behind you and think you did great. Sit there and take people on a ride for 8-10 hours in a club and take them on a journey and bring them up and down, and then, and do that. Then, that's DJing. That's the whole thing, is to take you on that ride. And that's really lacking right now. The Carl Coxes of the world, so the Eric Murillos of the world in dance music, a Clark Kent, a Scribble, whatever, can go in there and sit there and open up a club, play the main part of the club, and close a club. You know what I mean? Yeah. All in one, where these kids just don't, it's not that they don't have it, they just don't have that experience.
Right.
So when you now begin to now start to mix by ear, subconsciously it develops the ability, okay, for you to now start pairing music together. It removes the laziness in the mind. Now, if you are able to mix and you decide, you know what, I want to just do sync because I have 3, 4, 5 tracks going on at the same time and I'm going to do all looping, whatever, that's fine. But until pitch control has been rendered obsolete, you will learn how to mix by ear. Doesn't mean that you have to now perform mixing by ear every set. You can sync all you want, but if you don't know how to, then you are not a DJ, because we are in the process of trying to preserve the culture. That's what we're doing here. When it's not about, saying, oh, well, we're just gonna, make up rules as we go. No, we are preserving the culture that is quickly going to
Right now, the most important thing in the world is human consciousness. Tremendous technologies have come. All these technologies, if they have to become meaningful force in human well-being, it is first the human being that we need to work on. Great things are available in our hands, but if we don't have human beings who are in a certain level of perception and wisdom, then all these technologies can be a big disaster for humanity. At least if you are not empowered with technology, maybe we didn't have to so much bother about human consciousness, we could have allowed another 500 years of stupidity. But not anymore. The way the technology is growing, if human beings don't grow accordingly, we are going to make a big disaster out of everything. Do you see the disaster always lurking on the edge? It can just happen any moment.
So that's all I had to say about that. Until when you get into a DJ booth and there are no more CDJs and everything is just controller and everything has a sync button, you will learn how to DJ by ear and to mix by ear. Manually. Johnny Fontana, Half Amazing TV, we out.
We'll do it live! Fuck it! Fucking thing sucks!